Good morning, students. Today we start our topic with another instrument. Its working, its principle, that is spectrophotometry. First point, we need to understand what is the purpose of this instrument. This instrument is usually used to characterize. Characterize means we need to understand what type of that solution we have. That is to characterize, to identify what component is present in the solution that we have, or to quantify compounds in the solution. For all these purpose, we use this spectrophotometry, and it's similar to other instrument that we have till learned. Here also, we identify all these aspects by measuring the amount of light absorbed by that solution that we are taken to understand about its concentration or its quality. So first point is regarding the principle of spectrophotometry. What is its principle? Here also the principle is Beer-Lambert's law. Then what is Beer-Lambert's law? The Beer-Lambert's law says that the absorbance level increases with the concentration of solution, and also Lambert's law says that the absorbance increases with increase in the thickness of that solution. That means the increase in the path of light. So here also the principle is Beer-Lambert's law. The main components of spectrophotometry are a light source is there, then a monochromator that we will learn in this section. What is monochromator? Monochromator is there, a cuvette is there. Cuvette we know is the glass test tube like yes, part of that instrument to contain the solution that we need to test. Then a photocell for producing the electrical signal using the light that using the transmitted light that the transmitted light we obtained out of that solution, and a galvanometer. These are the main components. Monochromator, as the name shows, that mono means single. It select a single wavelength out of many wavelength. That is simply what is monochromator. It can select. It allows the passage of only a one particular wavelength. Before going to that, I want to ask you, what is actually color? Simply, what is color? Colors are nothing. It is light of different wavelength. As the wavelength changes, the color also changes. That we need to keep in your mind. So we are going to take each component scale separately. First is regarding the light source. So in spectrophotometry, there will be one light source. And there is one versatility. Versatility means it's one important dominance over other apparatus instruments. What is that? We can select the light source according to the name. So when we need a visible region emitting light, at that time we can use a tungsten filament incandescent bulb. Or in other time we need UV light. We need to get UV light, then we need to use a hydrogen gas discharge tube. And also if we want infrared wavelength, infrared light, then in that case we need to use glowing rods of silicon carbide or zirconium oxide to emit that infrared light. So yeah, there's a difference. This is the advantage over the other apparatus. Here we can select the light source depending upon our need. Next slide. Here we are going to understand about monochromator. What is monochromator? First point itself, that what is monochromator? It's a wavelength selector. Simply monochromator means a wavelength selecting device. it separates polychromatic incident light. For example, in VIBGYOR means visible light, violet, indigo, blue, green, so many colors are there. Such a type of polychromatic incident light, it select only one particular color. One particular color, we can tell it another way. In what way? It can select a particular wavelength. A particular wavelength means a particular color. That is the purpose of this monochromator. It is a wavelength selector. It selects a particular wavelength out of a group of wavelengths. It separates polychromatic wavelength and select only one wavelength. I think you understand. This monochromator are of two types mainly used in this spectrophotometer. Grating type is there and prism type is there. So we need to understand what is grating type, what is prism type. Both monochromators do the same work. That is separates that incident light as different wavelength and select one wavelength to pass through that solution that we need to investigate. So we are going to see what is grating type. Grating type monochromator actually it disperses white light into a continuous spectrum. Disperse means instant light when a beam of light incident on this grating type of monochromator, that beam gets split into its constituent parts, and that means into different colors. That is the continuous spectrum in the case of grating type. And that way we got different types of colors. And there is a knob in that grating type monochromator. By turning or adjusting that knob, we can select which color need to pass through the solution that is taken in the cuvette. We can select the color by adjusting the knob. That is the grating type. And prism type, here instead of this grating surface, a prism is using here. Prism, one of its property is that prism have varied thickness. Its thickness varies in different areas of in its different areas. As the light passes through a prism, that light beam get diffracted. Diffracted means its angle get changed. Diffracted and separated. Separated as different wavelength. That means different colors according to its wavelength. Then for selecting a particular wavelength, we need to just rotate that prism. By rotating the prism, only a particular wavelength only is passed through the solution taken in the cuvette. There is the two different types of monochromator used in spectrophotometer. Regarding this monochromator, we are going to see a video now. So let's go and see that video.
What are dispersing devices or monochromators? Monochromator are the dispersing devices used in spectroscopy. Monochromator produces light of single wavelength. There are two types of monochromators. One is prism and second is diffraction gratings. So let's talk about prisms. The collimated beam is dispersed.
In the prism, a single beam is striking on its one side. It gets diffracted and its constituent parts get separated as different colors. And among these colors, only one color is allowed or passed through the cuvette. The separation is happening here. If this separation will not happen, we didn't get an accurate result at the end of the experiment. So that is the purpose. This beam is a polychromatic, means it contains different wavelength. So we need to separate it as its constituent wavelengths, separate wavelength, and then select one wavelength. That's the purpose of monochromator.
By the prism into its constituent wavelengths. As the prism is having different thickness, light with different wavelengths get diffracted with different angles and get separated. The prism is rotated to allow a particular wavelength to fall on a focusing lens and then emerge out of an exit slit. Let's talk about diffraction
Next is about grating type.
gratings. The grating monochromator has some advantages over prism, which are as follows. A grating gives much better dispersion of light than prism, as the gratings are usually made up of non-corrosive materials
This grating type can disperse, that can separate each wavelength better than this prism type monochromator.
like aluminium, which is not easily attacked by moisture,
Made
but
of
metal salt
aluminium.
prisms are attacked by atmospheric airs easily. Gratings can be used for over a long range of wavelength as compared to prism. A diffraction grating
This picture show how it is constructed, it's how it is built. A polished surface is there over this, so many rackings are arranged. It's very closely packed racks are there, and as the beam of light fall in its groove in between this we can see the groove, that incident beam get reflected. Upon that reflection, its constituent parts get separated. Okay, let's see that.
is made by ruling a large number of parallel and equidistant lines on a highly polished surface of a metal, such as aluminium. For UV and visible light, these lines must be 15,000 to 30,000 lines per inch, but for IR, it should be 1500 to 2500 per inch. The light which strikes the ruling is scattered and dissipated or wasted, but the light which strikes the unruled portion or grooves is reflected regularly. The reflected waves produce
The reflection you need to listen.
interference pattern, which results in the dispersion of light into its component wavelength. The above type of grating is known as reflection grating.
The grating itself, two types: reflection grating and transmission grating. Reflection means there that light is reflected. Transmission grating means the polychromatic light is falling on here, and as it passes through this grating surface, after passing it gets split into its constituent wavelength. That is transmission. After transmission, that constituent parts get separated. That's about transmission grating.
Another type of grating is known as transmission grating, which are obtained by rolling large number of parallel and equidistant lines on glass. When the light falls on transmission gratings, each groove acts as an individual source of light. The transmitted rays from the grooves produce interference pattern, which results in the dispersion of the transmitted light into its component wavelength.
That's about grating type and prism type monochromators. I think it's very clear to you. Next slide. Uh, Remaining portion. Next part of the spectrophotometry is a cuvette. Cuvette we know is a glass part of that apparatus to holding the solution that we need to test. And they are small containers in which sample is taken, through which light from the monochromator passes. And its material, in the case of if the source of light that we select is UV, then that cuvette should be made of quartz. Next part of spectrophotometry is a photocell. What is photocell? Photocell means its purpose is the light that is transmitted through the sample. Sample means when after selecting a single wavelength by the monochromator, that wave is passing through the sample, and that depending upon the concentration of that sample, a certain amount of wavelength is absorbed and the remaining portion is transmitted. That transmitted light energy is converted to electrical impulse by the photocell. That is the purpose of photocell. And that electrical impulse intensity is directly proportional to the intensity of the light. Light means the transmitted light. Next part is galvanometer. Galvanometer means it is that part which the photocell produces an electrical signal, and that signal is amplified by an amplifier. We got an amplified signal, and on receiving that amplified signal, galvanometer produce a reading. There is a reading about the absorbance. How much wavelength is absorbed. It's a number. After getting that value, we can compare that value with a known set of standard recorded value that we already taken and keep formally. Okay, that's about different parts of spectrophotometer. Next, we are going to see the working principle of spectrophotometer, how it works.
Explain construction and working of single beam spectrophotometer. Spectrophotometers are the instrument which are working at a wavelength where the absorption is maximum. Such wavelength of the radiations whose absorbance is maximum is called as lambda max. With the help of spectrophotometer, we can have qualitative as well as quantitative analysis of any type of sample.
Using the spectrophotometer, we can understand qualitative and quantitative aspect of the solution. Qualitative means our solution is composed of what substance, that we can understand. And also regarding the quantitative, we can understand how much that particular substance is present in that solution. In two aspects we can understand, quantitative and qualitative.
It may be solid, liquid or gas. It may be colored or colorless. The spectrophotometers are of two types: single beam spectrophotometer and double beam spectrophotometer. The following are the main components.
Here we are going to understand about single beam. Only one beam is passing through the solution.
Of the single beam spectrophotometers. First, the source of radiation. It may be UV light, visible light or IR radiation.
Whatever be the source of light, first beginning there will be a light producing source.
UV light can be obtained by heating the filament which is filled with either hydrogen gas or deuterium. Visible radiation can be obtained by incandescent lamp with tungsten filament, and IR radiation can be obtained by heating Newton's glower at the temperature of 1500 to 2000 degrees Celsius. Newton's glower is metallic oxide of yttrium, erbium and zirconium. IR radiations can also be obtained by heating glow bar, which is silicon carbide or carborundum, at the temperature of 1300 to 1700 degrees Celsius. Second comes collimating convex lens. The function.
This is the another important part of this spectrophotometer, to collect all the light beams emitting from the source. It collects all the light beams that is emitted by the source.
Of collimating convex lens is to collect all the rays coming from the source, and then there is a diaphragm. It is used to set 100% transmittance. Next comes monochromator, to obtain the radiation of.
Diaphragm is there for transmitting all this light to the monochromator.
One wavelength. The monochromator may be prism or diffraction grating. Then the focusing.
Monochromator simply to split the polychromatic light into different wavelength and to select a particular wavelength only to focus upon the solution taken in the cuvette.
Convex lens. Its function is to collect all the transmitted light and focus it on the cuvette where the sample is placed. Next comes cuvette or the sample holder. For UV light, it should be made up of quartz. For visible light, it should be made up of glass. And for IR light, it must be made up of rock salt, for example, sodium chloride. If the sample is gas or volatile liquid having low boiling point, must be taken in the closed container. If it is liquid, one drop of liquid must be placed between two parallel plates of quartz for UV light. For visible light, it must be placed in between the plates of glass, and for IR light, rock salt must be used. If it is solution, the solvent used for the preparation of the solution must be cyclohexane, methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, or any other suitable solvent which is not capable of absorbing the incident radiation. If it is solid, then we take about 1 milligram of it and is mixed with 100 to 200 milligrams of KBr. Prepare a slurry. It is cut into smaller circular discs called pellets. They are dried and
that's all explaining about how we need to make the solution, that you don't need to bother much about that now. Just only understand the solution that we need to take test is taken in the cuvette, and what about the material used for constructing the cuvette in the case of different types of sauce. Really, we need to understand here.
placed in the place of quartz. The diameter of pellets is 10 mm and thickness is 1 mm. Next comes photocell. The transmitted light is incident on it. Photocathode converts these
Photocell converts the transmitted amount of light into electrical signal, and that signal is recognized, then amplified by an amplifier here. Then that amplified signal is recognized by the galvanometer, and we got a reading.
radiations into current. It can be amplified using the amplifier if needed. And lastly, the readout meter or dial. The current is converted into optical density or absorbance in readout meter. So let's discuss the working of the instrument. First of all, the source of the radiation from UV light to visible light to IR radiations is started. The light from the source is collected by a collimating convex lens and allowed to fall on the monochromator. For each radiations incident on monochromator, we are getting the radiations of one wavelength only, one value of lambda. This monochromatic light is passed over the sample kept in cuvette, where some part of the radiation is absorbed and remaining is transmitted, which passes through focusing lens and falls on photocell. Photocell converts this radiation to the current and optical density or absorbance. Value of wavelength, that is lambda of radiation, can be changed by rotating monochromator. Later, a graph of absorbance versus wavelength lambda is plotted. The wavelength where the absorbance is maximum is known as lambda max, which is characteristic property of the compound and gives the qualitative analysis of sample. While knowing the value of absorbance, we can find out the concentration of the solution using Beer-Lambert's law. Thus, quantitative analysis is possible.
That's about how we are understanding the quality and also the quantity. For quality, we are passing different wavelength to the same solution itself. That different wavelength we can select by rotating the monochromator. So by rotating the monochromator, we select each wavelength and record its absorbance level. Okay, then we got a value. After passing all the different types of wavelength, we can understand which wavelength is absorbed much by that solution. Then that absorbance, the particular with respect to that wavelength, is a character of that solution. By that way, we can understand what is the component of that solution, because each component, each type of solute have a property to property of maximum absorbance with respective to each wavelength. For example, a substance like X, that X substance have maximum absorbance for yellow color, and with regard to other colors, its absorbance level is much less. So we can understand, this substance have maximum absorbance with respect to yellow color, that wavelength. So yellow color absorbance more substance is this one. In that way, we can understand what is the component present in that solution. That's a qualitative. Similarly, then we consider that particular wavelength only. Next, and passing that wavelength through that solution, and so many standards also previously prepared. Uh, then we executed that test solution using that yellow color, and we noted a reading. We got a reading of absorbance level. How much amount of wavelength is absorbed by that solution, that type, that value. Using that value, we can understand the concentration, because with respect to that yellow color, we know a standard value, how much is concentration. A set of standard values are there. So by comparing the obtained value with the standard value, we can understand the concentration also. So in that way, we can understand the quality as well as the quantity of the tested solution. Okay, that's about spectrophotometry, its working, its principle. Next slide. Next is about UV and IR infrared spectrophotometer. Common spectrophotometers are use are UV type or visible type, and the infrared are very rarely used. Then we are going to see which are the applications of spectrophotometry. Spectrophotometry is used in many fields. First one is used in the quantitative determination. Quantitative, how much solutes are present in the solution. So quantitative determination of solutes. And it is also used in clinical fields, like estimation of blood parameters like amount of glucose, amount of cholesterol, amount of proteins. Using the spectrophotometry, we can understand how much glucose, cholesterol, proteins present in a given sample of blood. And also it is used to determine the rate of enzyme catalyzed biochemical reactions. What is the rate of that reaction? And also we can use the spectrophotometry to analyze the quality of water, soil, and amount of pollutants present in any sample solution. In all these fields, we can use spectrophotometry. These are its applications. With this, we finish today's section. Thank you.